Thank you. This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting school corporation business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There will be time for public participation as indicated by the agenda. The meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact the superintendent at the school corporation central office. Now call the meeting to order. Please stand. We'll observe a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. We have everyone here except for Mr. Hendricks, who is actually traveling with the boys basketball team, so doing a little schoolwork himself tonight. So we appreciate that from him. We do have a quorum present. Mission statement, Mrs. Hutchison.
Lebanon Community School Corporation will cultivate and reach every student by influencing and enriching their lives through the power of education, and will do so in a positive and safe learning environment.
Thank you. Item 2, approval of minutes for the May 17th regular meeting. I'd like a motion to approve those, please.
I'll motion.
Second?
Second.
Any questions or comments on those? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 3, certify executive content for our May 25th executive session, which was held to discuss job performance and evaluation of individual employees, and also the purchase or lease of real property. I'd like a motion to approve those, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Questions or comments on that? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 4, board recognitions. Mrs. Kristen Scott.
Good evening. Tonight we're excited to recognize not only our classified staff Tiger Pride champion for June, but also our community Tiger Pride champions. We'll begin with our classified staff Tiger Pride champion, Mrs. Vicki Miller, our student database coordinator. Vicki is a positive asset to LCSC and displays pride in all that she does as the district student database coordinator. The work ethic that she brings to the role is unmatched. Upon transitioning into her role, Vicki has also worked relentlessly to tackle the changes from the state and implement them with fidelity throughout the district. When met with a challenge or error, she takes initiative to find a solution. Vicki never hesitates to step up and provide support or a helping hand where it is needed. LCSC is proud to recognize Vicki as our Tiger Pride champion. Thank you for all that you do. And for our community Tiger Pride champions, we have Megan Lewis and Carmen Cannon. Carmen and Megan are each a true example of community Tiger Pride champions. Starting in January, both individuals dedicated themselves to serving our community as co-chairs for the Yes for LCSC Political Action Committee. They rallied together numerous volunteers to assist with educating voters on the benefits of both the capital and operating referendums. Through their leadership, volunteers worked to deliver yard signs, knock on doors, call voters, secure donations, attend informational sessions, and work the election polls in the rain. Both ladies remain dedicated to the common goal and help spread the enthusiasm for the future throughout our community. On behalf of all the LCSC students, staff, and community, we would like to thank you both for your dedication to making our schools and community a better place. Congratulations.
Congratulations to each of you. Thank you. Item 5, superintendent announcements and celebrations. Dr. Milliman.
Thank you, Mrs. Keith. First, I'd like to also offer my thanks to our Tiger Pride chiefs this evening. I wish I could be in attendance for that. The work that Vicky's been doing at the Administration Center with the student database and all the things working with the Department of Education has been incredible. There's been an unbelievable amount of changes at the Department of Education, and it required a lot of resets in the way we do things and our processes. And Vicki not only does that in our office, but she trains those around us and trains the clerical staff around the district. So thank you for that. And Carmen and Megan, kind of our compadres there through the campaign process. They were unbelievable, and they also did a great job with their day job, right? Taking care of our kids right here at Lebanon High School. So my thanks to them as well. Congratulations to our graduates. We had a great ceremony. Saw them off to their next phase of life. And so I wanted to thank everyone who had a hand in that. Carmen, along with the referendum and being a great teacher, was also a class sponsor, as was Megan as well. So Megan and Carmen got the graduation off the ground as well as all of the other work. So congratulations on that and everyone else that had a hand in that. I wanted to take a second to thank our buildings and grounds, maintenance, transportation, custodial staff that are working through this heat and challenges that the weather has brought this spring. All of the folks that are working behind the scenes to make sure that we're going to be up and running in August. I just wanted to take a moment and let them know we noticed their work and we thank them for that. Finally, I just wanted to thank the board and the administration and the administration center for holding down the fort here while I've been out of town on a personal matter here for the last couple of weeks. It's very much appreciated. So that's all I have for my announcements this evening.
Okay, thank you. All right, item 6, consent agenda for staff matters. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, for our classified staff this evening, we are bringing forward 4 custodian positions, 2 summer buildings and grounds crew member positions, and 1 instructional assistant position at the Indiana United Methodist Children's Home. Again, a reminder to the board that this is funded through title grants that we are responsible to administer those grants to the non-public schools within the boundaries of Lebanon Community School Corporation. So that's what that position is for. Under our certified items this evening, Mr. Levine has submitted his intent to retire within 5 years for the board's consideration. And the following certified staff have submitted resignations. We have 1 school psychologist resignation, and we had 9 teacher resignations to bring to the board for your approval this evening. We are bringing forward some teacher recommendations to fill some of those positions this evening. Mrs. LaProne at Central is recommending Joe Barber for the kindergarten teaching position. Mr. O'Rourke is recommending Molly Murphy to help. Pardon me? Yeah, I'll get to that one. Molly Murphy for maternity leave, and Jessica Mulcahy for a special needs position. We are also proud to recommend this evening Mr. Zach Dennis to join us as the district's new Chief Financial Officer, and we'll ask him to come forward and update reports here in the next section. Under our ECA this evening, Ms. Scoble is recommending fall coaches for football, volleyball, soccer, cross country, cheer, boys tennis, and girls golf. And Mr. Levine is recommending fall coaches for football, volleyball, cross country, soccer, girls and boys basketball, and cheer this evening. And I believe that is all the recommendations for staff matters this evening.
Okay, great, thank you. Quite a bit this evening. All right, board, I'd like a motion to approve the classified, certified, and ECA staff matters as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I'll second.
any questions or comments on that? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Levine, I believe you have someone to introduce us to this evening?
Yeah, we have one head coaching position change, and we're pleased and excited to have Sam Parsons, a former
right, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Dr. Milliman, I believe you wanted to introduce Mr. Dennis later in the agenda, or no?
absolutely.
How would you like to do that?
Now would be fine. Now would be fine.
Okay.
First, I'd like to offer my sincere thanks to Mr. Dunshee, who stepped in to help us kind of keep things moving during this interim time and before our permanent CFO was named. It was hiring season. We're closing down the middle school, or all of our schools at that time, for the summer, but also ramping up the hiring season. So he was keeping two organizations moving forward, and I just can't thank him enough for stepping in and stepping up and helping us with this transition. So this first moment to do that. Mr. Dennis came to us as a highly recommended candidate from some very trusted school leaders in the state of Indiana, and we had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Dennis and other candidates. It became very apparent very quickly his enthusiasm for students, his business acumen, his vision, how he holds himself accountable and those around him, but in a positive and productive way, and became very clear to us very early in that process that this is the right man for the job. So I'm really proud to introduce him this evening. I hope he'll perhaps come to the podium here and introduce his lovely family. And I think Mrs. Beltran has some gifts for him as well this evening, hopefully. So I'll turn it over to him.
Are there no gifts then? The gift of everyone's presence. Understood. Good evening to the board, and it was fantastic to meet everybody tonight. And I can't say how grateful I am and humbled by this opportunity that's been given to me. I am a native of Central Indiana, but didn't know an awful lot about Lebanon. And in the 7 days I've been here, this is an outstanding community, and I'm so excited to watch it grow and be a part of that. I know Dr. Milliman mentioned my family, but I promised my wife I would not force her to come up here. But that is my wife Kelly and my son Drake, who is thirsty apparently, and they just. The welcome from the folks in the administrative center, and then just the administrators that I met with at the buildings. Had a chance to come to one of the baseball games during the tournament, and how welcoming everyone was to my family was especially important to me, and really just solidified that this is a great spot for me, and I'm thankful for this opportunity, and I look forward to get going. So.
Thank you.
Great.
Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
I-
Glad you're here.
I must say, I mean, I had the opportunity to sit in on the interview, and to me, it was before he walked out of the room, I was just like, okay, it was a good fit, and I look forward to what you're going to be able to allow us to go in the future of this district.
Thank you. All right. Item 7, a consent agenda for business matters. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, this evening, bringing forward for your consideration claims totaling $10,256,781.85, payroll calculation of $1,956,456.22, bringing the total for this evening to $12,213,238.07. We'll note to the board that this may seem to be a bit larger than normal claims docket. We do have debt payments that are due twice per year, June and December. And so that is why this claims docket is $3 million and change, perhaps a little bit larger than what would be a typical month of claims for us.
Okay, thank you. All right, board, I'd like a motion to approve claims for payment 55692 through 55918 and payrolls for May 27th and June 10th, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second? Any questions or comments on that?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 8 is comments from the public. We do not have anyone signed in to speak this evening. 9, action items. We have several. So we will start with A, request approval of appointments to board reorganization matters approved on 1/4/2022 to the Chief Financial Officer. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, these are the items that we routinely take care of in the board reorganization meeting each January. They are to handle routine business office job duties and bonding, et cetera. That's typically done in January. As I said, the board took action to transfer these to Mr. Dunshee at the May meeting, and now that we have our permanent and long-term, right, Mr. Dennis, replacement for the CFO, we will be transferring these duties to him. So that's what this item is about.
Okay, very good. Board, I'd like a motion to approve appointments to board reorganization matters approved at 1/4/2022 to Mr. Dennis now.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. B, request approval of revised LMS handbook.
Yes, these are a very minor addition to both the middle school and then the high school that you will see in a separate motion. So it's the same in both. This is a transportation item that we wanted to make consistent. It was just a bit of an oversight. And this addresses when a family may change their preferred pickup address during the course of the school year for whatever reason that may take place. We do ask for a period of time to allow the transportation office to get the route routed for that student. So it's not an instant change the minute that they notify us. So really it's just language that we wanted to be consistent in both in all three of the handbooks, high school, middle school, and elementary.
Okay. All right, we'll take the LMS handbook first. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the revised LMS handbook as presented. Okay, second?
I'll second.
Questions? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Approval of revised LHS handbook, so the exact same change for the high school?
Same.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the revised LHS handbook as presented.
I'll motion.
Second?
Okay. I'll let her.
Questions on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. D, request approval of LHS athletic handbook. Mr. Levine.
Thank you. I'll kind of be brief. There's only 2 changes that we made to the athletic handbook. The IHSA changes their bylaws in May, so that's why I'm here with you in June to allow me to make changes to our handbook that is related to the IHSA. So the first change, hopefully you have it in front of you or you've reviewed it, basically is changing language. The IHSA changed some language to the consecutive days missed in order to return to play. They use the word consecutive days missed, 8 to 14 number of practices you have to have if you've missed 8 to 14 days for, and then more than 14 days if they took out consecutive. So it's just more than 14, 6 days of return. So I changed that in the handbook to align itself with the IHSAA. And then the second change is basically from some new court rulings to our social media policy, being in greater detail to what is appropriate, what is inappropriate, and the discipline and the track that we take based on some recent court rulings and some conferences that I've attended, and how we should go about doing that in our athletic handbook. So it's just some language that changed, but it doesn't back us into a corner or anything. It helps us when dealing with social media issues, which, as you know, are some of my main situations that I deal with throughout the year.
Unfortunately.
And those are really the only 2 changes to the handbook at this time.
Okay, thank you. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the LHS athletic handbook changes as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that? All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. E, request approval of Witham Health Services Foundation donation. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, we were a host for Judge David's, I believe, final, hearing that was part of his position, and we received this generous donation, and by board policy, does require board approval for donations $1,000 or more. So glad to bring this for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. We always appreciate donations. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the donation from Witham Health Services Foundation. Okay, second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that? All right, we thank them very much. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Breakfast and lunch prices for 2022 through 2023. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, thank you. You have these in your background notes. Just as a reminder to the board and others that the program that the federal government had provided type A lunches or school lunches and breakfasts for all students without charge over the past 2 school years is sunsetting, and therefore these prices will be in effect for paid lunch students and families. Jen Totterud is going to be continuing to remind parents with a series of social media posts and other communication, parents that we need to start filling our lunch accounts again. So, two-pronged item this evening: 1, bringing these prices to you for your approval, and 2, to remind folks of that information.
Okay, thank you. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the breakfast and lunch prices for the 2022-2023 school year.
I'll
Oh.
motion.
Go ahead. I'll second.
Okay. Any questions?
No, but I would like to say it's been really great for our families, my son included, because he never remembered to tell us his lunch account was empty, that, our students haven't had to pay for lunch for 2 years. I think that's been very helpful for families, so appreciate that happening, and now we'll have to be reminded to fill that lunch
Fill
account.
that lunch account. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. School police wage recommendation for 2022-2023. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, in your background notes, you'll see a recommendation for increased salary for all of our school police officers. And of course, we know the importance of that and our commitment to that program. And we thank our community once again for their commitment to helping us continue a fully staffed school police department with an officer in every building. And so I am pleased this evening to bring this recommendation for increased salaries for our school police department.
All right, thank you. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the school police wage increase for 2022 through 2023, please.
Motion.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that? Well, I would just echo our appreciation for them as well, keeping our students safe. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. H, transportation mid-year increase wage recommendation. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, thank you. Again, much like our discussions through our referendum conversations, the importance, of course, of maintaining competitive wages and salaries and benefits. We are continuing to look at that. We're continuing to compare our compensation packages compared to other districts in our region. But we want to bring this to you mid-year. This would potentially be recommendations that would come to be effective in January. But we wanted to address the bus drivers' wages here mid-year, and we will, as I said, continue to evaluate these wages. So when we bring all classified wages to the board for your consideration later in the year, we may include transportation at that time as well, depending on where our analysis goes in comparisons of our compensation packages with other areas. But we do obviously want to maintain a fully staffed transportation department, and wages are a big part of that in this competitive environment we're in. So this is why we're bringing it to you mid-year.
Okay, thank you. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the transportation mid-year wage increase, please.
I'll make that motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Questions or comments on that?
I think this year we found out how valuable these individuals are and
Absolutely.
you know, so I think we got to try to do all we can to at least encourage them to stay.
Yes, they do a great job for us, and yeah, we want to keep them, so. I hope
Unsung
they-
heroes.
Definitely. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, administration salary recommendation for 2022-23. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, thank you. For your consideration, this increase would be a 4% increase for our administration members, as well as a stipend comparable to the stipend awarded by the board last year. This would be consistent with all of our certified staff. Compensation, as you are aware, we're in the middle of a 2-year master teacher contract with our teachers. And so the dollar amounts dedicated to increased compensation for the teachers is already been approved by the board when you ratified their contract. So this is separate from that and requires a separate board action for the administration.
Okay, thank you. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the administration salary recommendation for 2022-23.
Motion.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. J, request approval of resolution to reduce 2022 budget appropriations. Dr. Milliman.
Mr. Dennis could explain this better than I, but this is a routine business matter that comes before the board, usually mid-year. Essentially, by passing this resolution, it allows the CFO to adjust the appropriations so that when building the 2023 budget, we are able to maximize the levies so that there's not an overage, if you will, in that appropriation line from the previous year. So this allows that adjustment to be made in the budget building process, again, so that the school districts can maximize the levy that we will be putting in our budget for 2023.
Okay, thank you. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the resolution to reduce the 2022 budget appropriations, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Any questions or comments on that? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nope, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, recommendation of Lebanon Public Library Board appointment. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, I'm pleased that Kendra Whipke has asked to remain on the board or be reappointed to the Lebanon Public Library Board on behalf of the school district. It'll be a 4-year term commencing July 22nd, 2022 through July 22nd, 2026. And we thank her for her service on that board.
Mhm. All right, Board, I'd like a motion to approve the appointment of Mrs. Whipke to the Lebanon Public Library Board.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second, please.
I'll second. You take whichever.
At the same time.
I heard you first. There you go. Any questions on that? Comments? I just thank her for her time. I know that it does get to be time-consuming sometimes to attend those meetings, and she's done this for years now, and it's appreciated. All those in
Very much.
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Request approval to purchase keyboards for the middle school. Dr. Milliman.
always pleased to bring a recommendation to buy musical instruments for our students. And this is one of those opportunities to purchase keyboards for a course that'll be offered under the band and music section of the curriculum for our middle school students. You can see the approximate cost in your background notes, and these will be funded from the 2018 GO bond proceeds.
Okay, great.
Approved.
Board, I'd like a motion to approve the purchase of keyboards for the middle school.
As a piano player, I will make that motion.
And I will second. As a
Okay.
former band member too. Yeah.
Any questions or comments on that? No, I do think it's great to offer that at the middle school now. That's definitely just to add something to the curriculum. That's great. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Request approval of LHS overnight trip for D1 girls basketball camp. Mr. Martin.
Good evening. Item one is girls' basketball Division I camp in Fort Wayne. It's an overnight. That's the reason we're here for you.
Okay.
You have the details in your background.
Yes. All right. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the LHS overnight trip for D1 girls basketball camp.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, approval for LHS trip to Kings Island, Mr. Martin.
So this is also the girls' program.
Okay.
Background note says the 15th, but it's actually June 25th. So the letter's correct,
Oh.
but
I wondered.
yeah.
Good.
It's an out-of-state trip, so
Great.
the request comes to you.
Okay. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the Kings Island trip for the girls' basketball program on June 25th.
Make the motion.
I'm sorry, Lisa, did you? Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Any questions on that? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, approval for the boys' basketball D1 camp.
Boys' basketball is an overnight, so I'm here requesting that. Details are in your packet if you want them
Okay.
further.
All right, Board, I'd like a motion to approve the boys' basketball D1 overnight trip.
I'll motion.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Any questions on that?
No.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Lastly is Central would like to take fourth grade students overnight to Camp Tecumseh on September 15th.
Okay. Very good. Board, I'd like a motion to approve the Central Elementary overnight trip to Camp Tecumseh, please.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
All right. Any questions or comments on that?
It's a great trip. I remember going
It
to
is a great trip.
couple
I've done that one
times
too.
myself.
It's exhausting, but it's
Yes,
really
it
fun. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. All right, informational items. Elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund. Dr. Milliman.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Keith. We are required as part of our, was abbreviated as known as ESSER funds or emergency relief funds, to present not only publicly at the governing board meeting, but also post on our website reopening plans. Required to do that every 6 months. We did so in December. And so the plans this evening are just to share that information with the public. We also, and ask for their input. This board meeting does serve as their opportunity as a public to comment on the reopening plans to start the school year in 2022. And above and beyond that requirement, we also put reminders in our posting and the public posting, both for this meeting and on the website, how we are spending the ESSER funds. That is not a part of the requirement, as there are other platforms to do that. And the state of Indiana has began publishing that information as well, but we thought it would be relevant and important just to reiterate that for our public this evening and on our website. And so you'll see through the presentation that we plan to start school the way we ended school. And folks will make their own informed choice regarding face coverings, masks, et cetera. We will continue some of, but perhaps not all of, the strategies that were used in 2020 and 2021. For example, the additional custodial staff member first shift would no longer be part of the 2022-23 school year. But other things such as perhaps plexiglass at our main entrances and reception areas, the water bottle filling stations will remain in our hallways for our students. All that is contained on the presentation that our community will have an opportunity to comment on, and that fulfills the requirement this evening.
Okay, very good. Board, any questions or comments on that?
Nope.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, upcoming meetings, we have our July regular meeting here on July 19th at 7 o'clock. Anything else from anyone this evening?